We have a great heritage. 56 years ago, in 1967, Victory Outreach Ministries was born. Pastor Sunny and Julie started the ministry in East Los Angeles, California. They held street crusades in the drug-infested neighborhoods, first opening their homes' doors to drug addicts, gang members, and later, after starting a church, they began to reach out into the neighborhood's families. It was in this restless climate that Victory Outreach was born. News of this church quickly spread and brought hope to many. Lives once deemed impossible were taking their place in the ministry. Revival was happening in the inner cities of America. The ministry grew in capacity, taking them from building to building, then expanding past Los Angeles into other cities, and then from convention center to convention center. We soon outgrew the borders of America and began to extend into other countries.
It is not a coincidence that God has raised us up from the miry clay and set us free. He has delivered us so that we in turn could be a deliverer and take the message of the gospel of Jesus Christ.
The Lord heard the cry of the inner cities, and Victory Outreach has taken their place. What was impossible with man had been made possible with God. What a great legacy we are a part of.
I remember when the men and women within our ministry began to catch the vision. I believe it was when suddenly the Lord began to put messages upon my heart to not only just speak to them about their about growing spiritually and speak to them in the area of doctrine, but then God began to give me some challenging messages about how God wanted to use all of us, and that God had given us a calling, and that God had a purpose for our lives to reach out into the inner cities. And when I would preach about the inner city, naturally we were in East LA, I was preaching about reaching all of East LA for Jesus. And after a while, these men and women began to catch the vision, and the vision began to be internalized within inside of them. And when they began to come and tell me that God had called them and that they were the person that God is raising up to reach out into taking a city, or they wanted to go out and take a city, I looked at them and to myself, I thought it was impossible. Not with that person, not with this other person, not with these people. When I looked at the qualities within them, or I looked at the talent that they had, and where they come from, it seemed impossible that God was able to use these type of people. But then the Lord began to show me that, and that scripture that became so real to me, that He's taken the foolish things of the world to confound the wise. And then I began to preach that, and many of them just wanted to go out. They wanted to go out like right away and take East LA for Jesus. But that was the very beginning, when all of a sudden the vision of reaching the inner city was internalized within the people within the church that we were reaching out to.
It was 17 years ago, the Lord brought this ministry across the shores into South Africa. But the work had begun years before, establishing us as a ministry throughout the world. We are now an international ministry, and within South Africa, we are serving 4 of the 9 provinces. Our churches and free victory homes are meeting a great need within the country. For over 56 years, thousands have been saved through the ministry, and South Africa has been a great part of the heritage and legacy of Victory Outreach International.